Guys, welcome to week 41 of 52 and hashtag Realtor Life, and I wanted to share with you something I've been hearing a ton of, and I wanted to address that with you guys if you're a seller and pricing your home to sell. So probably in the last 6 months, I probably had 4 or 5 people say, oh, let's try the higher price for a while to negotiate down. And I always pucker a bit because I know exactly what that means. Now, I'm in a position where I'm interviewing for a job, and I want the seller to realize their hopes and dreams of pricing. But when we do talk about how to price a home, there's 3 strategies. There's market pricing, there's aspirational pricing, and there's, of course, the deal pricing. So when we look at the comps in the neighborhood, and we do come in with a range of pricing, which can be good and bad, but let's say, I'll just use one client I have, for example. I wanted them to list at $475,000, but the range was $475 to $495. $495 was the higher price. And I explained that from the very, very beginning. But what's super important about being priced really right out of the gate, especially in today's market where your consumer comes in so armed with information, is that the first 3 weeks in the market is where the rubber meets the road, you guys, in a sale. So if you want to try the higher price for a while, what you have to bear in mind is there are some consequences that come with that. For example, the longer you sit on the market, the less money you're going to make. The longer you sit on the market, the more of a stigma that you get. You have to pull your emotion out of the fact that you spent $50,000 in upgrading and your neighbor didn't. Our jobs as realtors is, of course, to show that in the appraisal. But when your buyer has a portal running or an automatic email showing them every house that's updated and comes on the market, they're watching the market. They can tell right away when a house is overpriced. They say to themselves, why is this one so much better than the one across the street that's a similar square footage or a similar design? So I really encourage you guys to not necessarily try the higher price, because ultimately that is a huge mistake that sellers make. And I will say that I don't ever want to walk away from a possible client to use me, but I have to be honest with them. And if I do take a listing at the higher price, we are going to put some verbiage in the contract that says we will do a reduction at certain points, because the goal is ultimately to get the home sold for buyer, seller, me, the other agent. Everybody wins, right? So it's something that we struggle with all the time, because in today's, again, the consumers are so savvy in what they're doing and what they're looking at. They very well may not come in and even look at all for as little as $5,000 difference. I've seen it happen. And we're talking all ranges of prices. I have a client right now in Desert Highlands. He puts so much painful heart and soul into the building and structure that he's been on the market for 4 years, and he's been talking to me about possibly listing. And I said, you've got to pull yourself out of this equation. You're standing in your own way with your emotion and ego. And I meant that with peace and love for sure. But to get him to understand that it doesn't matter that the house across the street was built with 2x4s and his was built with steel and 2x6s and extra insulation. Those are important pieces, mind you, but he hasn't sold his house. So if he keeps doing what he's doing, he's going to keep getting what he's getting. So I do encourage you guys to try not to sample the higher price. Now, if your house sells quickly, it's not because you were underpriced, it's because your consumer has been circling and watching, and they're looking and waiting for the right property to come on the market. And you probably have a good agent, of course, if it sells as well. I have another one that we had listed for 2 years. We had 18 showings. It was in the $1.5 million range. And as time went on, we went down to 1.35 million, I think. Well, and we parted ways, friends. It was time for, a new alignment of stars. He listed with a new agent at a higher price. Now, listen, I could be wrong. It could sell, but he did nothing different in that listing. So I wish him the very best of luck. So that's all for this week. As always, if you're looking to buy or sell real estate, please contact me. My information is 480-695-3709. That's my cell. And my email is wendyo, WENDYO, at www.fineproperties.com. So until next week, have a great week, and I'll talk to you soon.